How many watts does it take to cycle up Sa Calobra in less than half an hour? Let's find out.
Right, so back in February, I came out here to Mallorca to ride Sa Calobra as fast as I could. Back then, I did a time of 31:18, which I was pretty impressed with, especially the power output I held at 330 watts for just over half an hour. Now that was a really impressive performance for me, but I knew I had a little bit more on the table. So I had to get another flight booked out here, and now it's April and I'm back out for another attempt. I'm not saying this lightly, but I really want to get under that half-hour mark. It was so agonisingly close last time and I knew I could do it. This time I brought my own bike out here rather than hiring one, so hopefully that will give me a slight performance edge, and I think I can push a small amount more watts than I could back then. I think in order to be able to crack that half an hour mark, I'm going to have to do at least 340 watts and hold quite an aero position on my way up. Right, enough talking, let's get on with it.
Right then, Sa Calobra day. Again, it's going to be a long old ride out. First up, I'm going to get to Calobra, then it's over the Tords, then it's a long stretch along the flatlands towards the bottom of the Sabataya, and then we finally get to descend down into Sa Calobra. I love this bit up the valley. It's great on a hot day. It cools you down, it's in the shade. And because it's so shallow, honestly makes you feel so fit, because you just big ring it at barely any power. You absolutely fly up here. So yeah, the goal for today is sub 30, but that's not going to be an easy task. I had a look on Strava last night and actually less than 1,000 people have managed it. That would be an awesome achievement in itself. In the top 1,000 times ever up Sa Calobra. Well, according to Strava at least. Anyway, at this rate, I'm never going to get there, so I better crack on. Not far to the base of the Sabataya now. Oh, it's been a long stretch on these main roads. Onto the Sabataya now. Crazy how many bikes there are. Way more than there were back in February. Now the challenge here is to not get carried away. Keep it nice in zone 2. If you're wondering why I'm wearing the running vest, it's because I'm testing it out before doing some gravel races. Seeing if it's comfortable on a long ride. And to be honest with you, it's working really well. The plan is so I can store my gels on the front. They're a lot easier to get out. I didn't find a Camelback was very easy to use. It's honestly crazy how many bikes there are up here, but it does make you feel fit though, flying past people doing zone 2. Oh.
So, how am I actually going to pace this effort to make sure I don't blow up before the top? I used Best Bike Split in order to give myself a really detailed pacing plan of exactly what watts to do on which sections. What this tool does is it breaks down the climb into a bunch of intervals, each one giving you a power target. Generally, the steeper the climb, the higher the power target, the shallower, the lower the power target. So you can see here for the first 260 meters, it's saying do 325 watts. But then when you get round a bit further up, around a kilometre in, you hit a 350 watt section where the road's a bit steeper. In Best Bike Split, you can either set a target time or a target power. I've set this up with a target power of 340 watts. And you can see here the average power it's aiming for and the normalized power are just slightly below that. You can also set limiters on how high above that normalized power target you're willing to go. So imagine if there was a really steep kicker, it's not got you sprinting at 500 watts, which will completely blow you up for the rest of the ride. And now, based on their model, which I think the CDA for me is slightly out, it's predicting that I would do 29.15. But the part of this tool I really like is if I go on the time analysis page, I can use these sliders to modify the conditions. So for example, if I'm having an amazing day and average 350 watts, I can see that actually that's going to gain me 55 seconds on the whole climb. And I can see exactly where they estimate this time gain to come from. And now what I can do is I think this 0.374 at the minute, I'm not that aero. So I can actually adjust this slider and I think I'm more like a 0.4, which would predict a time of 29.27. Which I think sounds about right. Then the final thing I do is I then export this as a workout to my Garmin, and then that, based on the distance, will show intervals on your Garmin of the exact power you need to target for each split. Full disclosure then, I didn't actually have to pay for Best Bike Split. I got in touch and they gave me free access. Now, they haven't actually paid for anything in this video or given me any editorial rules, so all these are my own opinions. And alongside that, they have actually given me a 25% off code, which I'll link down below. I do think it's a genuinely good tool, especially if you race a lot of time trials and are trying to target like PB efforts up long, undulating climbs. Anyway, let's jump back out to Mallorca and give the climb a go.
Right, let's get to where the segment starts and then it's time to go. Not gonna lie, a little bit nervous about this. It's gonna proper hurt. I'm hoping this course I've done with Best Bike Split is gonna help with the pacing though. I think I went hard earlier last time when actually the bottom of the climb is quite shallow. So I'm gonna save the big efforts for higher up where it's steeper, but we'll just see how it goes. Right, let's get going.
Kicking off the effort, I immediately realised just how different it was going to be riding up here in April rather than February. The road was so much busier, and as you can see, I got caught up in a fair bit of congestion even coming out the village. Fortunately, I managed to get through it smoothly enough, but I was worried this was going to be a sign of things to come. But once I was out onto clear road, the first few kilometres of the effort actually went quite smoothly, settling nicely into my pace, holding around 340 watts average. And now we're approaching the first really impressive part of Sa Calobra. This short stretch of road where you go along the cliffs and up through a really stunning cutting. And now it was time for the middle section of the climb. I just had to get settled nicely into my pace and not get too carried away early on. I knew if I stuck to the plan, I'd be able to do it. But if I went even slightly too hard early on, I was going to completely blow up towards the top. So being careful and disciplined with my pace really was the key. As you go around the corner, the views really open up into the mountainous terrain and it is absolutely breathtaking. But eyes on the prize, and you can even start to see off in the distance the big 270-degree hairpin, and you can even just about make out the summit.
Moment of truth, is my bag still there or has it been nicked by a goat? Oh. Thank God for that.
Wow, sweet. Ooh, weighs a bit.
Well, I think I managed to sneak in just under the half-hour mark. My Garmin popped up saying 29:45 anyways. Gonna hope that's good enough for it to come under half an hour on the actual official segment. Right, now for the not so glamorous side of doing YouTube. Going up and down making all the B-roll. It's pretty embarrassing, to be honest with you. Right, now it's time to get back to the hotel and have a look out when... What are you? Like a ferret looking thing. Oh, nearly at the top of the final climb now. What a day out this has been. I'm already at 4,500 kilojoules in my legs. Probably be nearly 5,000 by the time I'm back. Ah, loving the sun though. So great to be out here.
Just looked at Strava, 29:47, absolutely buzzing. Oh, so pleased with that effort. Now to find myself a beer, I think I've earned one. And there you go. Whilst I might not be anywhere near as fast as Pidcock, you can see there I did 29:47, which I am absolutely over the moon with. That puts me in 742nd place out of over 160,000 people. So, you know, I am really happy with that, especially as it is a climb where a lot of people will do a really hard all-out effort up. To answer the question from the start of the video then, jumping into the stats on Strava, I had to average 338 watts, which at my weight clocks in at 5.1 watts per kilo. And that got me up Sa Calobra in a time of 29 minutes and 47 seconds. What's next for my training and racing? Well, I'm coming into my gravel season now with a couple of races over the next few weeks. And alongside that, I'm going to be racing my local hill climb series, and I might even throw in a few 10-mile time trials for good measure. Hopefully this performance is an indicator of how my form is coming into season, and hopefully I'll finally be able to catch an elusive win in a hill climb. If you enjoyed this video, please do get subscribed down below. It really does support the channel and helps motivate me to produce more videos just like this one. And also, if you really did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up and get active in the comments. It really sends signals to the YouTube algorithm that you really enjoyed this video, and it will share it with many other people. I hope you enjoyed it, and until the next one, I'll see you all soon.